Before introducing or going into the session, first like to introduce what SCC Online is. So SCC Online, as you know, it's like the dal chawal of a law student. Right from the first year, first semester, you are taught that you have to use SCC Online for your projects and other activities, moot court competitions, research papers, because this database helps you research, search, and research. So let's begin with the training session. This is the SCC Online screen, the first place where you land up. I suggest you star mark this. Just bookmark this so that you don't need to search SCC Online every time and it appears on your screen. So before you begin with the before I begin with the training session, a quick small suggestion: subscribe to this newsletter. This newsletter will ensure that you get the latest updates of the current affairs, Supreme Courts, High Court decisions, and other news and stories of SCC Online blog to your email address. Enter your email address here and subscribe. Do login. So I'll go with the login email address. Usually you will have the IP login address when you're going from the university site, or you will be directed through your remote access. For Tamil Nadu National Law University students, you have a remote access page. And for many other universities, I believe that you would be having this remote access where you can join in, you can log into the SCC Online without any ID and password. So let's start with few basic things and then we'll go into advanced level. For the first few minutes, I'll not teach you, perhaps I'll demonstrate what are the basics and then we'll go to the advanced stage. So the best, we begin with party name. So this is the SCC Online dashboard. I'll just speak about it for a few minutes. You will be landed here when you first log into the SCC Online database. So the difference is simple. This is blue tile, this is red tile, and this is gray tile. In the blue tiles, in any of the search tile which you're using for your research, you will have to use keyboard to type in something. For the red tiles, you are good to do with a mouse. You don't need a keyboard. And that's what the main difference is between these two search tiles. And this is basically it directs you to the other websites of SCC Online and other research databases like LawNet and HEAN Online. These are the other products of SCC Online, which I shall also be introducing to you in the next 1 hour, 15 minutes. So let's go with the basic thing, party name. This is more or like, if you get a party name, it's very simple. You click on Supreme Court and whichever the court is you're searching for, the case is in. In fact, you have the Supreme Court, the Federal Court. Remember, Federal Court was the predecessor of the Supreme Court. Earlier, before India was, before the Supreme Court was set up in year 1950, you had the Federal Court, and the Federal Court appeal used to go to the Privy Council in England. So these were the two advanced or the higher upper level courts. So now we of course have the Supreme Court as the apex court of India. Now you have the various high courts here and the various tribunals and commissions. So if you are not sure which jurisdiction or which court is the decision you are searching for, just type all jurisdiction and type the name. For example, case Savananda Bharti, the most common one, and everyone will be familiar with it. That's why I've taken this example. So this is the judgment, and you're good to go with. When you click it, you will be led to the judgment in itself. But something you have to show here. For example, you do not know the name, you do not know the spelling of the judgment or the party names. For example, there are many spellings for some names. For example, Ram, the spelling Chaudhary is spelled with different spellings. CHAUDHARI, CHOUDHARI, CHAUDHARY. So when you're confused as to which Chaudhary you're searching for, just mention CH you don't know if it's AU or UA, just mention A question mark, or in fact star, DHAR again question mark. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. AUDHAR star. So what's the purpose of using this star and question mark is that this star asterisk mark can be replaced with any number of letters, while the question mark symbol can be replaced with one letter. For example, there's some error going here. Kishan Lal. It's Kishan Lal Mittal. So let's put asterisk mark here, Kishan. Let's search Kishan. It's taking unusual time. Sorry. Exactly. Let's go with this. Keshananda Bharat. This is one case we have. Let's go with this. Case 1. Asterisk. And Supreme Court. As you see in the screen, you have many party names replacing the asterisk mark. As I said, the asterisk mark can be replaced by a number of letters. You have case 1, and then you have different versions of case 1. You have P case 1, PC case 1. So you can go on doing your research if you do not know the actual spelling of the case, spelling of the party name. So this is party name. Let's go with citation search. This is just like searching when you have the citation at hand. If you're in the court and or you're interning, or you know the citation and citation is called out, and you just wish to get access to that very judgment, you can simply search the citation. For example, 19. This is the SCC Online citation, SCC Journal citation, 1973 for SCC 225. This is simple. It's very simple process. That's why I'm just starting with the basics. I'll go into bit advanced level later, in the next coming 6 minutes. So once you type the citation, you get the exact very judgment which you're looking for. But this can be adopted only when you know the citation. If you do not know the citation, it's better you do not adopt this method, because you cannot do try and error here. If you enter wrong citation, it will not lead you to the judgment at all. So this is the judgment, this is the citation I was actually looking for. And there can be only one judgment for a citation. There can be a number of digest notes, which I'll come to that in the later point of time. So once this is done, this is the party name feature. I explained you the citation, the party name. If you wish to go back to the dashboard, you can always click in here and get back to the dashboard, but unfortunately it's not taking shape. Probably because of the low internet connection, poor connectivity. Sorry. Okay, so we are back to the main. This is the dashboard, and I explained you all this. Now let's search case law by section. This again is a very simple thing. if you, for example, you want to search the judgments rendered for a particular case law of a statute, but only of a statute. You cannot search for multiple statutes here. For example, this provision of the Securities and Exchange Board of India Act 1992 is super controversial. I mean, it has been the constitutional validity has been challenged earlier. It's section 11 4, subsection 4 of 11, and subsection 11 capital B. So let's search for section 11 judgments. Basically, the powers of the capital markets regulator, which is Securities and Exchange Board of India, for short SEBI, was challenged before a number of high courts for the simple reason that they were handing over excessive power. They were delegating excess of power to SEBI. So this power was challenged, and the powers are enshrined in subsection 4 of section 11 of SEBI Act. Now, if you want to read only judgments, you can just select judgments only and high courts. In fact, there was a moot court competition where the constitutionality of section 11 was challenged, and that was the main issue of that case. And I simply logged on to this feature of SCC Online and searched out the 40. I read out the 47 cases, and one amongst them was actually very important. It is called the Anand Hati judgment of Bombay High Court. Since I have read it, I can point it out. One second. Securities and Exchange Board of India Act 1992. Section 11B was also challenged in that, capital B. Let's go with this. Power to issue directions and levy penalty. So perhaps the video conference is open on the side, and the browsing is also happening on the parallel sides. That's why the connectivity is disturbed or affected, I should say. Okay, this is the legislation which comes in. Research it. The whole point of search and research is that you do not get in the first instance. You have to try again and again, perhaps a few times before you get the desired results. So section 11, start with again section 11. Section 11 subsection 4 was challenged in the moot court competition. I had gone to this and I had searched for the judgments through this, and actually got it the other day. It's taking unusually a lot of time. Yes. So as you see your judgment, the result is 2,757. You don't need to read the entire list of cases. You need to read, if the constitutionality is challenged, better read the Constitutional Court's judgment, because they matter, and of course they have the powers to decide. Now, since I remember the case name, and that it's from Bombay High Court, I can click here. Yes, this is the Anand Rathi case. This moot court competition was an intra-university moot court competition at the Tamil Nadu National Law University. So this is the particular case. Once you click on the Bombay High Court, first read the, of course, Supreme Court cases, then you read the High Court cases. You'll, of course, land with something or the other on particular section, on section 11. And once you read all these 27 plus 47 judgments, you'll come up with, you'll find out a number of cases where this constitutionality was dealt. There were three prominent cases. The first one is the Anand Rati case, but before that, there was Ramrak R. Bora. It is there here. This particular judgment. Constitutionality was challenged here as well. But it was prominently, it was argued in length in Anand Rati case. Even this judgment deals with the constitutionality. Just show it for you. It challenges the constitutionality on touchstone of Article 19, 21, and 14 of the Constitution. So these are the two judgments. There's another judgment, 21st century private limited, but that's of Rajasthan High Court, and that's not very, it was not very useful. But yes, this Anand Rati case was argued by senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi. So once you read the arguments and read the judgments, you get a lot of arguments for your memorial, for drafting a memorial for the moot court competition. Now, let's go back. I'll point out how you can reach this judgment through various other ways. So now let's go back to the word search. Or let's slightly finish off the small topics. Words and phrases. Now, words and phrases are those things where you need to search the meaning of particular phrase. For example, there are so many Latin phrases which you need the meaning right at hand in the court, but with authorities. Of course, you can go ahead with the Google search, but what this feature of this database offers you is, this offers you with authority, whether the books or the court where that phrase was used. For example, there's this phrase of mutatis mutandis, which is a Latin maxim. So this, you get the meaning as well as the decision which it was explained or it was used. Now this also, and more prominently, it also has the link of the judgment. So once you go here, you can click on the link and it will direct you directly to the judgment on this database. So you need not go to the citation search and waste your time and get the judgment. You can directly click on this link. But this was useful when in a moot court competition, the opposite team was posed with the question from the bench that the word pari materia is same or similar. Pari not coming. Materia. So if you call it the statutes in pari materia, it's not coming. But anyways, if you want a definition of any particular term and you also wish to know whether in which judgment was it used, you can always enter here interpretation. For example, you need the meaning of the term, not the meaning, but the authority for the word interpretation of statutes or interpretation. What does interpretation mean? You can always click here. And this is where you get the meaning. So you always also get foreign words here, not just Indian words or not just Latin maxims. So let's go to word search. The word search is perhaps the most powerful feature or makes this data, it's a feather on the cap of the database in other words. It offers so many features that you need not go to each of these blue tiles, and all the features are incorporated here. Now, a layman, when he or she uses SCC Online and when he lands up on this particular word search tile, he would presume this to be another Google search engine, but no, it offers more than that. Now, for example, you need a particular phrase. My professor posed me the question that interpretation of statutes is an intellectual process. Elaborate. This was the homework which was given to us in the class, and perhaps going on to the Google and searching whether how an interpretation of statutes is an intellectual process, I can always enter interpretation over here. And the other word which was given to us was that interpretation of statutes is an intellectual process. So how would I do interpretation near? Now, why am I using the word near? I'll explain you in a while. Now, an intellectual process. What I'll do is I'll put the word intellectual process in brackets. Oh, sorry. So now, what does the word near mean? I wish to search the word interpretation near intellectual process. This word near is a software code, or in other words, it's called a Boolean code. There are 4 Boolean codes or 4 such words like near. 3 more, I should say, 4 in total. It's there and, not, or, near. But whenever you use this, please do ensure that you enter in uppercase. So I want the word interpretation, but near intellectual process. Of course, I can put this in brackets. But whenever using these words and, not, near, or, always do not forget to click on this radio button of Boolean. So click on this. You will get all those judgments where interpretation is near intellectual process. Sorry, it's taking unusually a lot of time. It does not take this long, but since the video screen sharing is going on parallelly, it is taking some time. Yes, so it is, of course, now all these things which I'm showcasing or whatever I'm presenting to you is tried and tested earlier, and this would occur to you that the trainer is showing something which he has tested and tried, and yes, that's true, because I will not experiment something over here. So this is a particular judgment where interpretation of statutes was described as an intellectual process, but relying on the work of some other author, some noted scholar, Hans Kelsen. So this particular judgment, Punjab Authority Reclamation Corporation versus Labor Code. Of course, you can click on this judgment; it will lead you to the entire judgment. But this is the particular relevant paragraph where you can access the question which was posed to you. Now, this can be searched in another fashion. I'll go back and demonstrate the same to you. The problem here was in this particular question, interpretation intellectual process, the search results for interpretation in respect to intellectual property were also coming. I'll show you how. Now, what you should do is, the other way to reach that judgment of Punjab land judgment, that was that constituted the party name, you can always enter interpretation, as you were asked, that how is interpretation of statutes an intellectual process. You can always enter interpretation, but don't enter any Boolean. I'll demonstrate how you can reach to that particular judgment without complicating using Boolean and all those sorts. You can always enter all words. And now, since you want intellectual process with reference to interpretation, here is how you will be, it will be demonstrated to you how you can search intellectual process with reference to interpretation. You can always click here, intellectual process. Now, there's a high probability that the word intellectual and process might come in separate sentences of the same paragraph. So ensure that you put double quotes here and double quotes here. So what this ensures is that you will get the word intellectual process exactly with reference to interpretation. Your results now are 2,30,788, but you need the exact particular and judgment. So click on intellectual process. What this ensures is this is a search within search. Now you lead up to the exact same place. Punjab Land Development and Reclaimment Corporation versus Labor Code. This is the exact thing which you were led, or it was demonstrated to you in few minutes back, and this is how you can come to the same particular judgment without using Boolean and the codes. Now, what feature did I use? I'll repeat myself. This interpretation is like the genus. It is that big family, but you want the particular grandchild. Now, grandchild's name is intellectual process. So you have to search within search results. That's how I used intellectual process in this search within search. Now, the advantage of this over the word search is that once you mention intellectual process over here, but you might not land up with the exact thing which you're looking for. So you may always close this breadcrumb. So whatever keeps on coming here is called a breadcrumb feature. You can always close this and you can search something else. You can search intellectual property, for example. Intellectual property. That is, you want to read judgment of interpretation with respect to intellectual property. You can always click here and you'll be guided to that particular judgment where interpretation is discussed in reference to intellectual property. Now, going back, I showcase how other Boolean words can also be used. I was posed with this question in one of the moot court competitions. The question of law was simple. If a rule, what is the difference if a rule is repealed, omitted, or deleted? Now, there are three things: repeal, omitted, or deleted. Now, you know that repeal can be repealed. The word omit can be omitted, omission, or omit. And the word delete can be deletion, delete. For example, it can be DELET or just DELETION. Or let's just showcase it. Delete can be deleted, deletion, delete, deletion. Again, deleted is all this. And of course, delete is it's not our result search which you're looking for. And repeal can be of repealed, repealed, repealing, repeals, so many things. So now what I say? I said I want to search of what is the difference between repeal, delete, and omission with respect to rule. So what will I do is I'll use the same feature which we used in party name, repeal, asterisk. Now you would recall that the symbol asterisk means that you can substitute any number of letters there. So it can be repeal, repealed, repeal, repealing, and so on and so forth. So repeal, asterisk, delete, asterisk, because it can be deletion, delete, or deleted. Now again, or I'll explain what or is meant for. Omit. Now I don't want to mention T, I can just mention omi, because it can be omission, omitted, and other things. So this is the thing. Or means wherever this or this or this comes in reference to the word rule. near rule. So this is like your algebraic equations which you have studied in your higher secondary classes, that this can be searched in reference to this, or this. This can be searched in reference to this, or this. Now, all this can be near the word settings. This is the Boolean near settings. All these words must appear in the range of how many words? You can always select can range from 1 to 20 in this drop down menu. I'll search 10. I'll go with the default. Default is 10, so I'll search with this. So once you do this, the database will automatically search for all this near rule. So here it is. This case was used after searching by this method. Takes some time. Yes. So once you read the judgments, now you will wish to read only the Supreme Court judgments and not any other judgments firstly, because that's where the things are settled. So it will be best if you read the Supreme Court judgments. And now usually start with the 5-judge bench, because that's the constitutional bench and that's where things are put to rest for many matters. Of course, you can, if you're a 7 bench, go read the 7 bench first. But if there's a 5-judge bench, read it first. This is the actual judgment which I used in that mode. It referred what is the difference between the word deletion, omission, and repeal with respect to the word rule. So here it is. Yeah, here it's where they discuss this case, the issue deletion, omission, rule, the latter part of the judgment. So this is the actual case which I used. Now coming back, now how do I land up? This is the Kolhapur Cane Sugar Works versus Union of India. How do I land up to this very judgment without using Boolean or without much of using Boolean? It's simple. If you do not understand that algebraic equations, or if it's some complicating to you, simple. I hope the asterisk mark is simple. Delete, or because this asterisk mark is basic, so you can of course use that. Omit, or repeal. Now you do not forget to use Boolean because you have used or and 2 times that too. So, but you do not need the Boolean radio button when you're using asterisk mark alone. Now, going back, going to the search. Now this will give you search results wherever repeal, delete, or omission appears. But now you have been given a task to identify wherever repeal, delete, and omit comes with respect to the word rule and not section or regulation or other forms of law or types of law. Forms of law, not types of law. So you can always go to this thing. This is search within search. You have used the word rule. And once you start reading the judgments, of course, start with the Supreme Court judgments. Not that every time you will get the perfect desired results when you click the Supreme Court judgment, but the probability is high. This is the particular case which I was looking for. Kolhapur Cane Sugar Works versus Union of India. This is, oh, sorry, not this. So once you come to this page, you would have noticed that there are three panels. This is the first panel. This is what is the broad area of authorities you want from. Whether you want the authorities from the Supreme Court, whether you want the decide cases from the federal court. As I said, the federal court was a predecessor of the Supreme Court, and so on and so forth. You can always go to the article section and you can read out, and this gives you that particular authority's decision in a brief manner so that you can select it from the face of it. If it shows the quorum, this number always shows the quorum of the bench. The quorum is this thing. The one which is there in the blue is the author of that particular judgment. In this case, it's Honorable Justice D.P. Malhotra. So here is the citation, and you have the date of the judgment. Sometimes you have two cases of same names, and you're confused which of the dates you have to refer to. So which of the decision you have to refer to. So this particular date will guide you to the right decision. Now, coming to this panel, you can of course read the judgment now, but the one advantage is that you find a particular paragraph which is the most relevant, and your senior at your office or your friend in the moot court competition needs the particular judgment in succinct. He or she does not need the entire judgment, the copy, and then you point out the paragraph, and then he has to open the judgment copy in PDF and read it. The best way is that click on this small box, click on the smart copy feature. This copy is called the smart copy feature. Once you get this, simple. Do entire copy or paste it in your Word, or best send it to the person you wish to send it to. For example, I wish to send it to my email address. But yes, this feature will not have the formalities like respected sir or whatever you wish to address your senior with, or nor does it have any other salutation. It will just send this particular paragraph of the judgment, which also includes the name of the case and the citation and the page number, also the paragraph number. This is usually done when the other person is in some hurry or just wants to find the perfect paragraph or wants to land on the precise paragraph where the question of law is addressed. So you can always click it and send mail. It will automatically send the mail. Now, here is the case referencer. Where has this case been referred in the past? After the pronouncement of this decision, wherever the judgment has been referred will be guided to you if you click the search referencer feature. It's taking a lot of time. So these were the judgments where it was referred to. For example, just put Kolhapur. Yes, you see, here it is referred. And it always gives you the link where you can go back. Oops. Okay. So you remember I showed you the Anand Rathi case. Now let's search that case, same case, through this feature. What was it about? It was about the constitutionality of the powers delegated to SEBI. So SEBI, you may all, of course, enter the full name Securities and Exchange Board of India Act 1992, or just SEBI would do for now. As of, or for when you're searching, you may always put the important part or important word of the particular statute. then you can always mention here section 11 or better constitutional. It can be constitutional validity or constitutionality. So always mention constitutional. And this will ensure that you're looking for constitutional validity of this SEBI Act. Now, come back here. So you have got a lot of cases now. The cases are, research results are on 491, but you want the constitutionality of a particular section. So mention section 11. So what does this feature show? This feature shows that for SEBI Act, you are searching for constitutionality of section 11, and these are the judgments you will land up with. Now, once you read, you again land up with another article. Of course, you would have argued that it's not come in the first option of the search. The whole point of research or search is that you have to keep reading before you land up with a proper decision. But you would land up, it's the sixth search, so you would land up. Now, if you do not know whether constitutionality was challenged of section 11, and now your senior tells you or your mood problem tells you that no, we are looking for constitutional challenge on the grounds of principles of natural justice violation. So principles of natural justice. Once you enter this, you will be guided to that particular decision where the SEBI Act was constitutionally challenged on the grounds of principles of natural justice. So let's wait. Yes, in this particular case, this lands up in the second search. Now, how you want, if you want this to land up in your first result, simple. This is the Anandrati case. It was decided by the Bombay High Court. Wonderful arguments. It refers to the British Columbia Court of Appeals case also in this. It's a fantastically argued judgment, a fantastically argued case. So since it has so many search results, let's do one thing. Let's narrow down our research further. From 15,556, we came to 491. Now let's go to the precise case where principles of natural justice. So what does this double quote ensure? Is that you want the precise principle, this phrase. You don't want the phrase coming in the piecemeal of your search results. Principle one, natural justice one at one place, and justice in the other part of the judgment. No, you want the entire phrase coming in lock, stock, and barrel. So, principles of natural justice. In this case, you'll end up with the second search result again. As said, you first read the Supreme Court cases, then you come with the High Court cases. You'll end up with this particular case. So it's taking an unusual lot of time. Since it has come, I'll explain you what are these features as well. If you're tired and you do not want to read the entire judgment, use this feature. This feature reads out the judgment for you. You need not scroll it down. But yes, this feature reads the judgment from this line, 2001 SCC Online, BOM 381, and then it goes on. And it's not like your YouTube track where you can point out the particular minute or and then you can start, or you can just, if you want to start from there, it will not. It will start from the starting. You can save the judgment here. So you can also select the page number. You do not want the entire page. So this drop down menu helps you to save the particular page number, and saves in the PDF format. Okay, let's save it once. So by the meantime, let's come back to this case, this thing. This emails this lets you email the thing. But yes, the person whom you are sending this or the receiver of this mail must have SCC Online to access it. If he or she does not have SCC Online, unfortunately, he or she will not be able to access it. Now, let's come to the print. Before we come to print, need to show you something. Once you download it, it comes off here. So it takes time to download, I guess. So let's go on with the previously downloaded case. So this is the judgment. Now, once you download the Supreme Court judgments, the advantage is that you get a true print copy. You cannot control F and you cannot search a particular word in the entire document as you can do it on the database when it's online. When the judgment is in front of you, you can do Control F and search here, but you cannot do it in this file. For the simple reason being that this is a true print feature. Now it has its own advantages and some demerits. The only in fact, it has only one demerit, that you cannot do Control F and you have to read the entire judgment to find out where a particular thing is in the entire judgment. So the advantage of this is that you get the other person reading it gets some assurance that this judgment is credible enough, that not that you have changed some part of the judgment. What happened in one of the moot court competition is that a team had notoriously changed some parts of judgment. They downloaded it from other websites, like you can download it from India Kanun, Manupatra, but none of them have this true print feature. So this kind of true print feature gives the reader assurance that this judgment or copy of judgment which you have submitted to them is credible enough and is reliable. So this is the true print feature. It of course comes with your name, but since you will be doing it from IP address, it will come with your name and your school, the date on which the judgment was downloaded. I downloaded it today, so it's come today. Of course, the website name and true print feature. Now, this is a particular citation. Now, what is this? This is nothing but a journal, the SCC bound journal volume, which you find out, which you get in your journal section of library, is this particular copy of that page. So the advantage is once you take the printout of this and submit it to a senior or to the court has its own SCC bound journal, or the senior will have the SCC bound journal of 1969, volume 2, at page number 412 of SCC bound journal. So this is the appeal, where in this case the appeal has come from the Madras High Court. So once you go to this journal, SCC bound journal, you will get the exact page in the exact format. The page number will be this, and this will be the judgment therein. So the other person, while you are arguing your case, you may ask the other person to come to page number so and so. While you have this copy, the other person might have the SCC bound journal, and they will be directed to the exact same page with the exact same paragraph, and hence you can continue your arguments. So this is what SCC Online true print feature is. Now, since I explained you SCC Online true print feature, you can of course download with true print. This is the print option: print with true print, print without true print, non-true print, and print non-true print with the highlights. These highlights, SEBI. So this is the advantage of print. Of course, you can increase the font if you're uncomfortable with the size of the font. This is just like your share option. Share with other, this is the link of that. If you share it with the other person, just like mailing the other person, you can share it on WhatsApp or other social messaging, messaging services. So this is a remove selection. So what happens is, you have selected this using the smart copy as earlier explained. You can always remove this. So this gets removed. Now you can select multiple smart copy judgments. So, but remember, the order which you select is the order in which it will appear here. Since I selected 4 and then 5, it will appear as 4 and 5. But If I select them in the other way, that is 5 and 4, it comes in this way: first 5 and then 4. The advantage is you get the citation and the page number. Now this is the case reference that I had said. This is the compendium feature, which is very much popular now. You can make your own compendium, add to your existing, add to a folder of yours, and then take a printout. Then, for example, change folder. You want to create a separate folder. So new folder. Okay, you cannot do a subfolder, but since you have SEBI laws, you can my folder. I can click on new folder. For example, there's an intra-university moot court competition. You can always put IUNCC and add this particular judgment in that particular file. Select folder, add this case to the folder, this folder, click on OK, and it will be added. Document added successfully. You can once you go, and how to find this, you must go to your my folders, which is on this part of the database, the top right corner of the screen. Always check my folders view. And once you can add multiple judgments, you can add articles in your compendium. And once it has come to SEBI laws, IUMC, we added an IUMCC, right? You can add multiple such judgments. You can or change the order here, up and down, and then take print out using compendium feature. Now the advantage of compendium feature, it is neat. It gives you the index of the authorities and neatly marked with page numbers. So if you have 10 such judgments, the first page of the compendium will be serial number 1, Anand Rathi versus SEBI, with page number of the compendium, and on that particular page there will be a number 1 written, signifying that this is the first authority of your compendium, or first reference, first material which you are referring to in your compendium. So now we have discussed the word search feature exhaustively. Going back again. Now, for example, as I said, the use of the word double quote is used when you're using when you want a particular phrase. For example, content of quote. Now, there's a substitute to this double quote, but there's a substitute only here. Remove the double quote, but don't use double quote and this feature, which I'm going to explain simultaneously. Use the radio button phrase. Now, you are instructing the database to search contempt of court as a phrase. So this will appear, the contempt of court will appear in as a phrase. I used open bracket. If you had observed, I used open bracket and close bracket. You can also go ahead with this phrase option. But what is more reliable is not open bracket, close bracket, but open double quotes. So you get contempt of court alone and not contempt separately, of separately, and quote separately. Now let's go back to the word search. Now there are other features as well. Here, Boolean I've explained. Phrase I've explained. Any word, when I use the word or, I need not, there's a substitute to word or as well. The Boolean or, I'm talking about this or, as I've just showed, there's a substitute for double quote, close quote, there's a substitute for the word or. What is the substitute? Use repeal asterisk DELET asterisk, then OMI asterisk. As I explained you, the word omit stands for omission, omit, omitted, and use any words. You remember the case which we just searched, what the Kolhapur cane sugar case? That particular case we'll reach again without using the word boolean at all. But yes, you have to click on the boolean, click on the radio button, any word before entering or clicking on the search. Otherwise, there would be some that's substitute. The word any words is substitute the word boolean. Now, you have 4,22,923 search results, but you wish to search all these omission, deletion, and repeal with respect to rule. So this is search within search. This is called the breadcrumb feature, which will appear here. This, okay, please check and re-enter. Okay. Yeah, let's go. So this is the breadcrumb feature. Now you wanted the Kolhapur case, you were searching for the perfect precise case. This is the Kolhapur cane sugar. You have reached this without using the word boolean. So this is how you can reach a judgment without using the word boolean at all in the first place. But it's a bit tricky process. You can now as we move ahead, you'll identify or you'll appreciate there are some demerits of you coming to this route, because you cannot use two booleans, cannot be substituted with any of these. For example, you want to search for cases of compensation being granted, but not in cases of medical negligence. Compensation not medical negligence. Now, what's the advantage of using the word advantage of using the symbol double quotes is that you will wish to get this phrase in one place, in together. So do not forget to click on the radio button boolean, otherwise it will not show the search. You will get all those cases where compensation was granted, but not in the case of medical negligence. Basically, medical negligence will not appear in those cases. And all the other cases of compensation was granted, maybe due to motor vehicle accident, maybe due to delay or fault of the other party, you get all those cases, but you will not get the cases where compensation was granted for medical negligence. Or basically, authorities, or better say search results. You will not get those search results where compensation appears in the particular document without, or the medical negligence word or phrase does not appear in it. So these are the choose option. These are the authorities from which you want. Either you want judgments, you want articles, or you want constitutional documents, historical trials. Historical trials is something you had learnt in the legal history course. There are many historical trials. One famous, if I remember, was the Bal Gangadhar Tilak's historical trial. All these are there in this. So there's a separate way of getting to this. How do you get to this? Is browse secondary materials, if I'm right. In this training session, I've heavily emphasized on, okay, what's this? I've emphasized mainly on the blue tiles. Yeah, I've not gone much to the red tiles because the blue tiles need some a push, a gentle push. While your red tiles, you can browse and you can identify how to go about it. For the blue tiles, you need to type in something, as I said earlier, and you need a slight introduction. Of course, after that, you can go ahead. Now, historical trials is here. Bal Gangadhar Tilak's historical trial, as I mentioned. So this mentions the entire case, entire judgment, entire orders, and the wonderful thing is it's there in the perfect sequence. Now let's go back to the word search. There are some things remaining. Just ensure that I finish them. Okay, so this will ensure that your search results are between a few years. You need not, this is a drop down menu. If you want from 2017 alone, but maybe because the act which you're searching for was enacted in 2016. For example, if you're searching cases for the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, you need not want to search for cases relating to insolvency prior to that, maybe in your cases. So in your research project, so you can narrow down your search in this using this option. Now, the other features of this is that this is a whole lot of treasure. Now, if you want a particular judgment of a particular judge, maybe again, what's important is that both these years are inclusive. So that means 1943 cases decided in 1943 or the material of 1943, search results of this year will also be included in your search results. For example, you just need the judgments of, for example, Justice Rohinton Fali Nariman. Just mention the name of the Honorable Judge. There was just Nariman. Now, this search result will display only those cases decided by Honorable Justice Nariman. Now, you may want to go into those particular area of cases. For example, only the arbitration cases decided by Nariman. So, Justice Nariman, of course, sorry. So, you can always enter search within search arbitration cases. Hello. If you want to do a study of the insolvency cases decided by Justice Nariman, if in fact in one of the books he was said that he is the father of the Indian version of the EBC, the Insolvency Code, you can always search about his cases, those judgments which he decided on insolvency law, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, IBC in short. So this is how you do it, and this is how word search feature is done. Now, going rapidly fast in all these is that's one. Yeah. So the red tile, as I showed you, the blue tile is where you need to use the keyboard. The red tile is where you're good to go with your mouse clicks. So let's start with moot court resources. When you're preparing for any moot court competitions or prominent moot court competitions, you would wish to access or see the memorials or the quality of research which they are expecting, or you wish to see the previous memorials of the previous moot court competition, you can always come to this feature of SCC Online database. For example, you would wish to know the NLU Jodhpur Antitrust Moot Court competitions previous memorials. This is where you get 10th edition's winning team memorial, respondents, the best memorial, and the winners memorial is always mentioned. So this, how does SCC Online ensure that we have this on a database? We tie up with the host university's moot court committee or the organization or the agency which is organizing the moot court competition and ensure that we get the moot memorial. Also, what we give in return is that we sponsor the moot. We are the knowledge partner of that particular moot. So this is how you get moot court resources. That's what is moot court resources. Browse treaties is simple. Where if you wish to participate in modern United Nations, or if you're researching on international law, or if you want the treaties of between countries, you can always come to this particular red tile feature and click here. So bilateral treaties, you have, of course, it's all in the alphabetical order, but if you do not want to go through each of this, you can always type here. For example, you're searching for double taxation avoidance agreement, DTAA. You can always click on this and you can get the double taxation avoidance agreements here. So this is what browse treaties is. Secondary materials. Browse secondary materials, as I showed you, it is all of the historical trials and take time. So this is the bills in parliament, the constitutional documents, it has the constitutional assembly debates, and all this also appears when you're doing the word search. That's the best part. So reports of various commissions and committees, for example, the report on insolvency and bankruptcy code is here. So the various reports decided or published by a working group or working committee of a particular government organization will always be here. So this is how you ask, this is what is secondary resources, secondary materials. Or browse article. Browse articles is what the law journal index with SCC Online will be the operator with EBC will be present here. If most of the prominent journals in India, law university journals in India are indexed with SCC Online, to mention a few of the prominent journals are the NLSI Law Review, NLS, this National Law School of India Universities Business Law Review, the National Law School of India Review. This is the second best journal or the first highly ranked journal according to SCC Online's ranking. Now, apart from this, you can, of course, this filter, using this filter, you can, of course, select the name of the journal which you want rather than checking each of the volume and each of the journals in here. Now, the blogs, reports, collected essays are also here. Tagore Law Lectures. Now, Tagore Law Lectures are something which the Calcutta University used to organize, and you had wonderful speakers coming down from various parts of this world. For example, the USA, there's Justice. One of the prominent judges of US Supreme Court had given a speech. The name of the speech was from Justice Madison, from Justice, one of those prominent US Supreme Court judgments, justices, I don't remember the name, to Justice Mukherjee. So that was the Calcutta University organizing Tagore Law Lectures. It's been suspended now. So, or I don't know what the right term to use, but it's been stopped in the past few years. So coming back again, browse acts and rules. This is the bad text or bad act, whatever you prefer to choose to call, will be present a type of bad act section of your library. You can search on the various central acts, rules, and notification. In fact, it goes beyond just bad act and also has notifications and circulars, a newly introduced feature of SCC Online. So these are the other countries' similar statutes. If you're doing an international book court competition or a research paper which involves a comparative jurisdiction, I think this is a treasure resource for you. Browse judgments and courts. This is like selecting that particular judgment using the date of the judgment. For example, you wish to access the date, we wish to access the judgment given on a particular date, you can always click on the particular court and particular judgment, year of the judgment, and you can click on the case. For example, 2020, it gives on the reverse order, that is from January to September. It's updated on a regular basis by the SCC Online editorial team. So this is what the judgments which were given, or not all orders and not all judgments are reported, but yes, prominent ones are. What are these prominent? It is decided by the SCC Online editorial board. Not every order of the Supreme Court will find here. Not every order of any judicial body will find here. Now, browse law reports. Browse law reports is something like entering into a journal section of the library. Now they have a numerous law reports. There's not SCC Online is just SCC Journal is just one type of law report. There are a number of law journals and reports. For example, To start with, the oldest law journal in India is the Madras Law Journal. It was started way back in 1896. So this is where these are the entire types of law reports and law journals. You know, the AIR, you have the SCC journal in itself. So this is just like searching in citation. Now this was now browse curated topics. This is another newly introduced feature. This is for the particular topic of this, basically for students or for a beginner. If you wish to study or know about a particular, not entirely, but know the basics of particular law, you can always click on this. For example, arbitration, conciliation, mediation. This would lead you to those particular resources which deal entirely with this area of law. Arbitration. Now you have the constitutional documents, you have the statutory law, that's Arbitration Conciliation Act 1996. Now you also have the other laws mentioning about arbitration. You also have articles, if I'm right. Yeah, you have articles. Now articles is, again, you don't need to go to the secondary material and search for a particular journal. You will get the articles here in itself. It's not going down. Yes, so these are the articles. It's an exhaustive resource, a true treasure for someone who needs material to start their research with. So this is a gist of a SCC Online. In fact, no one can explain a SCC Online in just an hour or 1.5 hours, and you have to practice. You have to go back and forth, trial and error method before you master the art. Now, coming to the products of SCC Online. SCC Online blog is something to start with. This is a legal news or newspaper, e-legal newspaper, where you get the entire current affair features of the Supreme Court and the various high courts decisions, the bills and the statute ordinances, whatever the current affairs be in the legal world, you will get them here. Apart from that, what you also get is the law school news. Yes, so you have the call for papers, moot court competitions, the notifications, the live blogging feature. Live blogging is for moot court competition. So whenever there's a moot court competition happening and they have tied up with SCC Online, or SCC Online as a knowledge partner of that moot, we also ensure that we do the live blogging. So you get to know who are arguing and what are the arguments, what are the questions posed by the bench. All that is featured in live blogging. You have the conferences, call for articles, papers, blogs, all this here. This is law school news. And then you also have other features of this SCC Online blog. As you're aware, there are a number of e-legal news databases like this Live Law, Bar and Bench, all are behind paywall. We are not behind paywall. SCC Online blog is freely accessible. In fact, if you go to SCC Online website, you don't need a subscription to SCC Online database to enter into SCC Online blog. You can always enter to SCC Online blog without entering into the database. Here is where we mention, or when you land up to this web page, you always are put on this part of the website where there is the latest feature of SCC Online. This Mercury is a product of EBC. I'll come back to it. Now SCC Online blog can be accessed here without logging in. So this is SCC Online blog, and yes, so let's go back. Let's come back. What are other products? Other products are, I know I'm running out of time now. 1 second. It was the doubt session which had to be started by now. Now coming to the other SCC Online feature is EBC learning. EBC learning is the e-learning which you can buy on this platform. It has a number of courses. You can go to EBC Web Store. EBC Web Store is an e-commercial website where you can buy any EBC products, and they will be, you have hassle-free payments here, you have discounts, you have other exciting features to choose from before buying a product, where you get some concession. You also have the description of the particular product here. So check, do make your ID at least on EBC web store. With that, link it with your email address. You will be intimated, or you will be reminded about various offers which we launch to your email address. Now, I have a complimentary EBC learning account. So I'll show you what EBC learning has to offer. To start with, it has talks given by legal luminaries, legal eagles. You have Sri K.T. Tulsi, the senior advocate, prominent senior advocate talks here. You can always start the course. You have talks given by senior advocate Sri Raju Ramchandranji, Sri Ram Jethmalani, senior advocate. These are all the names which everyone knows. And also you have a course. You have other courses taught by the leading professionals of that field. For example, you have Mr. Tarun Jain teaching about GST. Now, this course you can always start the course with a click of learn, and you have number of courses. You have courses on law, you have courses on economics, you have courses on newly launched areas of law. For example, RERA, this is the Real Estate Regulatory Authority. You have arbitration step by step. Now, this Sri Professor N.R. Madhavan Menon has also a course of featuring Mr. N.R. Madhavan Menon was also there. He is the father of Indian National Law Schools, the first to start the model. And so you have a number of exciting courses. Do check this out. Now, this, for example, take the topic of GST. Now, GST Demystified is taught by Mr. Tarun Jain. And when you see Mr. Tarun Jain's profile, he has written books on GST. Now, this is the EBC Reader. The EBC Reader is a new, not new, but it has been launched. It's been there for quite a while, but it's become very prominent now. You can access all the EBC books without buying the EBC books. That is, you can access the EBC books online without buying each of the EBC books. For example, there's this course of Mr. Tarun Jain I told you on GST. He has in fact written a book, GST. Oops, got stuck again. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so this is the EBC Reader for Tamil Nadu National Law University students. Have already made the recommendation to the concerned department to subscribe to EBC Reader. And if you have not subscribed to EBC Reader and if you want an individual subscription, it can also be purchased on EBC Web Store, which has a commercial website. But EBC Reader, as I showed you, let's search about Mr. Tarun Jain's GST. Now, he has written a book on GST. He is teaching the course of GST. So you have a comprehensive package on EBC, which it offers. Now, there are a number of books. It has, in fact, it also has search option. Now, you can take a book, for example, administrative law. You can take notes simultaneously, and you can search in the entire book, which it's like a control F for the entire book. You just want principles of natural justice. You'll be landed up to the exact places where this word or this phrase occurs in the entire book. So this is the one of the great features of EBC Reader, and you can make notes on the side. copy to note, and the note is saved. Of course, this feature will not allow you to download the book as such, but it allows you to read the book without having to purchase the book in the first place. If you want to purchase the book, click on EBC web, as said earlier, make account on EBC web store, then you can always search for the book and purchase the book. The advantage of this buying from EBC web store is you get discount automatically. If you go to a web store, you need to we go to a bookshop physically, which is not advisable in such circumstances. In the present circumstances, you can always buy the book from the web store, and you will be given concessions on the delivery. There is no delivery cost. If purchased about 500, what I am right is that Amazon charges delivery cost. If you are Prime member, it exempts you, but even other commercial websites, e-commerce websites, charge you for delivery. This website will not charge you for delivery. So this is another product of EBC. Now with that, coming to an end of today's session, I have covered EBC Online, EBC Reader, EBC Learning, and SCC Online. Now there's a new product launched by SCC EBC. Eastern Book Company is the main company which has SCC Online, which has EBC Reader, EBC Learning, and a new product called Mercury. Now what is Mercury? One second. This is the last leg of today's session. Mercury is something which EBC has just launched. It's young, it's growing rapidly. It's been 2 years, if I'm right. This is Mercury. The shortest way to case alerts. This may not concern us students, because what it does is it will have calendar types. It's like a Google Calendar, but it updates automatically. The code, you argue your case, and I've seen the clerk in my senior's office chamber, by making notes. When is the next date of hearing? When is whom is it before? Which court hall, or which? Of course, you get to know on that particular date, the court hall at least. But this Mercury reminds you that there's a case tomorrow. It is an artificial intelligence replacing or substituting a clerk. So that is what Mercury is. So with this, I come to an end of today's session.